found on the outside of the mezuzah are one of God's names, Shin Daled Yud, which has two meanings to it. One is the concept of protecting us from any forces that are demonic, the Hebrew word shade or shadim. And as we said before, that God protects the Jewish people not like a physical king of flesh and blood, that his soldiers stand outside and protect him, and he is inside. The Jewish people, on the other hand, are inside, and God's Mezuzah, which is the Shema, is on the outside protecting us. It should be in a slightly inclined part of the doorpost, inclining inward into the house, and it should be in the top third. It should not be lower than a third of the door. The second explanation for Shin Daled Yud is that it is abbreviation for Shomer Dalsos Yisrael, guardian of the doors of the Jewish people. After we affix the mezuzah, right before that, we make the blessing, Likvoa Mezuzah, to affix the mezuzah. Thank you, God, King of the universe. And then we were discussing why the right doorpost. So it's explained that that is the way people enter in. It's an entrance in, and we were discussing that most people are right-handed, and therefore they step with the right foot over. Maimonides specifies 10 conditions which make the fixings of a mezuzah to a room or a building obligatory. You have to put on this particular room a mezuzah. And what is it? 1, the floor space must be at least 4 cubits square in area. 4 cubits square in area. A cubit is 1.5 foot. So for instance, a door leading into a closet of smaller dimensions is therefore exempt. The entrance must be framed by 2 proper doorposts. They have to have 2 doorposts. You can't have like a half arch. You could have a right side there, and then over here, just the walkway. It has to have a proper 2 doorposts. A lintel must be above them. The post must be attached to the lintel and must stand firm. These are the requirements, the basic principles of what a doorway that a mezuzah is required upon has to have. There must be a ceiling above the lintel. A door must be attached to the doorpost and must lead to a space enclosed by 4 regular walls and roofed over. This excludes a mere portico or colonnade. But this is all talking about where you have to make the blessing. You can affix a mezuzah without making the blessing. There is a biblical commandment to not utter God's name in vain. And therefore, if there is a doubt whether this is a required situation or not for making a blessing, then you shouldn't say God's name. And therefore don't make the blessing, but you can still do the mitzvah. The entrance must be at least 10 hand breadths in height. A hand breadth this size. So in other words, you can't have like a doggy entrance and say we need to have a mezuzah. You don't need a mezuzah for a doggy entrance. A mezuzah is required for regular everyday residents, but not for a synagogue unless someone lives there. In ancient times, the shtibel, we didn't have big synagogues, batei knesset. So sometimes the rabbi lived upstairs, or the people would come to the rabbi's house. It was called a shtibel, a base medrash. So therefore, you would need mezuzahs there.